Something big is happening on November 7, 2020, and you don't want to miss it. The Southeastern Conference Women's Ministries Department is celebrating its 30th anniversary. The theme is 30 years of excellent service. The best is yet to come. Prepare yourself for a full day of virtual interactive programming with powerful preaching by our keynote speaker, Chaplain Linda Pinnock, founder of Living the Divine Purpose Ministries. Enjoy inspiring music by our anniversary praise team and virtual choir. And join us for a special tribute acknowledging the excellent work of former Women's Ministries directors, Sister Vanessa Melton and Mrs. Nicole Rize. In the afternoon, get ready for a spirit-filled live concert with gospel recording artist Miranda Curtis, a special awards program honoring women around the conference who have contributed greatly to the work of women's ministries, followed by an anniversary reception and a celebratory toast. If you would like to nominate an outstanding woman for an award, visit www.sccSDA.org/women's ministries. Registration is open now to receive your personalized 30th anniversary gift box for a donation of just $30. Anniversary t-shirts are also available, and take a moment to place an ad in our commemorative booklet on behalf of an outstanding leader or in memory of a loved one. To receive your package by November 7th, orders must be placed by October 16, 2020. For more details and to register right now, visit www.sccSDA.org. You may also register using the SEC SDA mobile app. Download it today for free. This celebration will not be complete unless you are there to share it with us. So mark your calendars now.
Good evening, good evening. We are back for another session of Book It. It's Pastor Java Madison, and I'm just so excited about what the Lord is doing. We are here today with another very special guest. You know, on last week, we were excited about Your Change, Your Choice by Pastor Marvin Clark. He blessed us tremendously. Weren't you blessed? I hope you were blessed. Please make sure that you go to our link below. And if you have not placed an order for his book, please do so now. We still have a few copies that are left where you can receive that free copy. We want to ship it to you on today. Press the link below and we will have that for you. But on tonight, you are in for a treat. But before we let you in on that treat, I want to remind you on next week, you don't want to miss it. We have with us the publishing director of North American Division, Pastor Carl McRoy, and he'll be talking about impediments to power. My God, don't we all want power? We're going to talk about what your blessings. That's on next week, but on today you're in for a treat. The main course of the hour is we have in the house entrepreneur and author Tiffany S. Carter, and she is sharing with us from her book entitled Broken, right? 7 steps on healing while grieving. 7 steps on healing while grieving. And I am so excited to be able to listen to her story and as she gives us steps on how to heal while grieving. Well, without further ado, I want to introduce you to our special guest on tonight, Tiffany. How are you doing?
Hi, Pastor Java. How are you today? Thank you for having me here. I'm so grateful and glad.
Yes, well, listen, I don't know if you're as excited as I am. I have read your book, and I have tremendously been blessed as you shared how you discovered purpose in your pain and in grief, and we're just excited to be able to hear from you about the book that you shared with us on tonight. So just tell us what inspired you to write this particular book on grieving while healing?
Well, what inspired me first and foremost, I didn't know I was in life insurance for 7 years. I was a life insurance broker. But before I got in life insurance, my father passed suddenly. And the amount of, I feel like, trauma, grief that I went through because it was like your immediate family. And then my grandmother died of breast cancer like 3 months after that. And it was just such a dark phase of my life that I never felt like that before. I had went to all these funerals, and to date, I know I've been over to 100 funerals. I just stopped counting at 100. But what I realized is, before my dad passed, is that number one, I had other people that passed, but that immediate grief, like, your parents, children, spouses are those things, people that you see daily. It doesn't stop at the funeral. My dad was totally different. It kind of caught me off guard. He wasn't sick. So I went through a whole grieving process that was very, very serious. And I know if I could come out of the grieving process, and this is book is based on the pain that I went through, but realizing, because I read different books. I didn't see a lot of books on grief. I saw a lot of books, but as far as they're either totally religious or totally, as far as just, non-denominational or whatever. But I wanted to give people a little bit of affirmations and, scriptures, but I wanted them to see from different points of view that it all coincides together.
Sure, sure, sure. In your book, you kind of define, what grief was, and this is what you said. Grief is an emotional reaction to a loss. You said it is trying time many people face. However, not all people grieve the same way. Grief is an individual process. Besides, all people do not grieve the same length of time. Then you also said grief can be compared to a dark storm that enters into a person's life, creating all kinds of damage. Before you know it, you are broken into pieces. Grief reaches deep down into your soul, touches parts of you in ways you would never have imagined. You may feel as if you could cry an ocean of tears. That is the way I felt. I mean, how many people out there, have felt the same exact way? I mean, these storms that come into your life from grief. I mean, how is it that you cope? What's your first step on how to cope with grief?
Well, when you're just sitting there crying and you have no ideas, because when you're grieving so much and your heart is broken, you can't really think about tomorrow. You're just trying to think about the next 5 seconds of the day. So what helped
Sure.
me go through the seconds to the minutes to the hours to the, I mean, I literally was praying to God to help me go to just get out the bed. If you make it
Yeah.
out of bed, Tiffany, you can make it to the car. If you make it to the car, Tiffany, you can make it to the store.
Yes.
I wanted to be very isolated. Like,
Mhm.
it was just so many different emotions, but God, I tell people it starts and ends right there. Because when nobody was around, you don't want to be anybody's like sad story or they feeling sorry. But I was so broken. I was so heartbroken about what had happened. Like my whole family changed. what, it could have been something as simple as, I remember I was just looking at my tire and realizing I didn't change my tire. I didn't
Yeah.
even check my tires.
Yeah.
My dad did that. So
Yeah.
the minute that I kept realizing how much his presence was so important, really and honestly, I wrote that book to understand how it helped me to celebrate the living, because I realize now how important people presence is. And I
Mm.
don't know if my dad always felt that I appreciated him. I knew I loved him, but I really appreciated him mostly more when he was gone, because I realized the little things were big things at the end of the day.
Listen, that's amazing. You said you did not appreciate him until he was gone. Look, I just want to speak a word right now to someone, because you may have loved ones that are in your life right now that you have not expressed how much you appreciate them. And they always say, always give a person, their roses while they can smell them. That first step, you said you sat there, and it was hard to get out of get out of, this daze. This is what you said in the first step. You said the first step of being healed from brokenness is choosing to move on. After making a choice and taking action, everything else will fall into place. How did it fall into place for you?
Well, really, I realized why it fell into place is one day I was sitting there, because I've told this story probably like 1,000 times now,
Mm-hmm,
because I
mm-hmm.
realized why I had the story to tell.
Yeah.
But one day, it was the first Christmas. First holidays are always tough when you lose a loved one, and they was a part of that, everyday holiday. My dad was a very, very family person, my grandmother. So we had the first holiday without my dad and grandma. It just felt so cold. It felt different, and you knew that their presence was gone. So I never remember one day I was sitting in the car and I was just crying. I was just like, this is so unfair. God, why did this happen to me? I'm just going through all these things, just crying, and was like, I can't wake up another day. I cried every single day for like a whole year. You understand? I couldn't wake up. And so as I was sitting in the car crying, God said, Tiffany, I'm sitting in the just like a store. I can't remember what it was. I'm just crying. It's around the holidays, and I just felt empty. And he said, Tiffany, if I did everything you want, he said, if I did everything you wanted, if I saved everybody, if everybody was here, you would never want to go home. And I said, what? What, God? You would never want to go home. This is not your home.
Wow.
This is, you're just passing through.
Wow.
If everybody, I healed everybody and I did exactly what you say, you will want to stay in this situation. You're just simply passing through. And every day it seemed like God, that message, that was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
He's been adding on to that message every day. You're just passing through, and I need you to fulfill your purpose while you're passing through. I'm gonna use this. I know you don't believe everything, because see, I couldn't see tomorrow, Pastor Java. I couldn't see, but God said, I'll uphold you with my right hand. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
I stay close
Yes.
to the brokenhearted.
Yes.
Those who
Okay.
mourn, it's joy in
Yes.
the morning.
Yes.
He kept giving me his promises. And he always said, there you go. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. That is real. He gets close to you when you mourn. I didn't even understand. We think that God is taking away, but he's recreating you. You understand?
In that moment while you was on the side of the road, this is what you said. You said, I am here to tell you, and you're speaking. You're speaking to the audience here. I am here to tell you, and I felt it so strong. If you need to cry, cry, baby, cry. This is what you said. Suppressing those emotions is not healthy and will lead to the healing of your soul, so that your soul so desperately needs. It's like the Lord almost gave you permission to cry.
Yeah. Yep, he gave me permission, because I wasn't an emotional person before that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of the one that's strong. I'm not a crier, but when that happened to me, I never forget. I wasn't a hugger either. Like, why are you hugging me?
Yeah, yeah.
Person at my church, it was Miss Hogan, and rest in peace. She passed of breast cancer. She said, "Tiffany, do you need that hug now?" I remember after my dad passed, I never forget that. I said, "Yes, Sister Hogan, I need that hug. I need that hug." And
Mm-hmm.
she hugged me, and I realized how embracing each other, how when God said our hands can heal,
Mm-hmm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
hug someone genuinely, not pat them, not the space in between pat, but when you embrace somebody, that lets you know I'm concerned, and that turns from sympathy to empathy. You
You
understand? I'm
can't.
not just passing you by and saying, I'm praying for you.
Yeah, so you can't receive that embrace because this is part of the grieving process. So that first step is to move on, and
Mm-hmm.
then you said that second step was to cry, let it all out, don't hold it in, and and so if you're gonna receive hugs like that, you got to be around people. So not being alone. You said when I grieve, I wanted to be alone. My
Mm-hmm.
mom, on the other hand, wanted to be surrounded by people when she grieved. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
this is your counsel. Respect
Mm-hmm.
other people's space during this emotional phase.
Absolutely.
That's why I'll text somebody before I call them,
Mm-hmm.
particularly when they've lost someone, because so many people are just calling, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody grieves different, but you almost need permission from that person, right? While they're grieving on how to interact, because the pain is real.
Yeah.
An affirmation you said, affirmation, it's okay to cry is a part of the process. I am allowed, and you're saying this to yourself. So for my viewing audience, I want you to be very clear. This is an affirmation at the end of each chapter. She is saying in chapter 2, cry baby cry, I'm allowed to feel, I won't quit, I will cry standing up. My God. I mean, woman of God, please just speak right there on that affirmation about crying while why not sit down while crying? Tell us why cry standing up?
Cause like, so my father, what I realized is that my brother and me were 3 years apart. But when he would be talking to my brother about what he needed to be or what he needed to become, he always say, don't let him see you cry. Don't let him see you cry. So I'm standing there with him and my brother, like, okay, you can't never let him see you cry. You understand? But not only that, now I kind of changed it. And then he even said, if you're gonna cry standing up and looking up. So if you're gonna cry, it's okay to cry. You just have to cry standing up, looking up. It's a lot of times before I've even spoken, I broke down and started crying. That's real. A lot of times I spoke to people, I was crying before. But I didn't stop the journey. I guess you're back. I didn't stop the journey of speaking to people. But what I realized is it's okay to cry, because those balled up emotions come hatred, guilt, shame, different things. They don't transfer into anything good.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
what I realized was, like a lot of people saw my photo shoot. I've actually had almost 15 people to pass over these last probably six months. What was so
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
about it is they said those are beautiful pictures. But what was so interesting, Pastor, people didn't understand is I had just lost my aunt. And so it was hard to smile. And I was crying before that
Wow.
shoot.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? I had tears, but the picture didn't show the adversity. The picture didn't show the pain. So what I realized is you have to cry standing up.
You gotta cry standing up. What a mighty word. Listen, to my audience, for those who are grieving, you can heal while you are grieving. A part of that process of grieving and receiving your healing. Tiffany, you said that you started asking God why. You got up, you moved on. You took the day by the horn. You allowed yourself to cry, but you begin to ask yourself questions, because this cycle of grief, why me? A lot of people begin to ask themselves this question: why me? For many are called, few are chosen is the word. And so you also said, even though my dad did not choose to die, I felt like he abandoned me. I not only felt abandoned by my dad, I felt abandoned by God. And so you said the first thing you must do in the denial stage is accept the traumatic event that just took place in your life. I mean, you're shell shocked, right?
Mm-hmm.
What brought you to that place to say, okay, this did happen?
Well, I think, you know, I've had my own situations in life. Like, certain people don't know, but I was in a coma when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
So while I was there, I knew I wasn't there alone. See, so when I started realizing why him and why not me, God flipped it around, and
Okay.
he was like, I saved you at 10. You understand? That
Yeah.
wasn't part of the story. It was supposed to go like it's supposed to go. So now what I need you to understand is I did that purposeful. I'm betting on you. If I keep keeping you alive, because see, what people don't understand is where I get my passion is because when I was in that coma, I was making deals with God. Like
Okay.
how I like
I
to say,
know
I was
about
making
that.
deals. I was
Yeah.
making deals with God and saying, because I didn't know where I was. You understand? And I was just in this dream. You understand? It felt like a dream because I thought it was a dream the whole time. And I told people, they said, well, what was your experience? I said, I just kept saying, God, I want to go back and play with my friends. I promise I'm going to give you the best. I promise. And it's like, when I said that, he said, I'm coming back on the deal. Regardless of, because I've tried to run from the deal and the plan. But when God just chose you, see, when you go through a death altering or something, I just never forget when we had a pandemic back in 1994. You understand? And I was on my deathbed. It was only 2 people that made it. I had the worst strand. I had one of the worst strand. And I realized then,
Strands of
every
what?
time I
What was
look
that?
back, you remember I had spinal bacterial meningitis.
Okay. Okay.
And they didn't have a cure for it. So
Okay.
I was literally, I came in the hospital with hardly any pulse. You understand? But all I knew is that people say, well, what did you feel? I said, I just was talking to God. It felt like I was talking to God the whole time. And I just knew, I just was like, look, God, if you let me back, this is what I'm going to do. You always making deals. God, if this is what I'm going to do. And every time that I get off track, God reminds me of that conversation. So
Okay.
during them darkest hours, he said, you asked to come back. You understand?
Yeah.
You asked to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gave you more time. No matter when that time, like I have already told my family, when the time is up, don't you dare cry for me.
Mm.
I made a decision. I made a choice to live on purpose. So people should not grieve death anymore. You should grieve being dead mentally, spiritually.
Wow.
While you're walking. Some people are living, they're talking, Pastor Java. You see them talking, but nothing but death is talking out their mouth, not life.
Wow. Wow.
Just like God said, you want to speak to these bones, tell them that you're living. And that's what I had to live in, tell myself every day in the mirror. You are alive, you are present, and you are here.
Yeah. Yeah.
God betted on me one more time. So I need to bet on myself too. He
So,
betted on me.
So you stop asking yourself why, because you found purpose in your pain. You realize that God had chose you to go through this process, and you had to look at it a different way. Now, you can only say that if you've been in that dark place, right? And so as I read your book, I really felt like you were speaking to me in my dark places, and I felt safe. I felt safe that I could trust you based on the testimony that you shared, that I can move on from this dark place. You said in your book, you said, let's start at the number one reason why we know our season has changed. We know our season has changed when we have lost a loved one and our heart is broken. So this place where you begin to ask God, why me? He was bringing you into a new season because he was allowing a change to happen. And so this pain, it changed you. Would you say it was for the better or for the worse?
Oh, it's for the better. If I'm sitting here and have a book, I'm like, I have a book off of something that once was so bad and everything. That's how I know when God told you God gonna bring them promises to life.
Yeah.
He said, I work everything out for who? Your good.
For
and
your
so when
good.
God said, I'm gonna work it out for your good, he said, whatever the devil thought that he was gonna tear her down. See, what the devil, he didn't know the conversations me and God had.
Yes.
He can't read our minds. He doesn't know what tomorrow gonna bring. But God said, if you stick with me, Tiffany, I know you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, but I don't need you to feel that. Don't feel that. Because yes, death is gonna happen because it's a season. But seasons are not here to stay. Okay? I was one day, I could not get out of bed. And today I jump out of bed like, devil, I hope you ready. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, you know how
Yeah.
that quote said, I am the storm. Oh,
Yes.
you bet it on me one more time. Let's go. Let's get this party started because I know he coming.
So this joy, this energy we just felt. We don't have much time. We got to go. But listeners, I just want you to know that you can heal while grieving. So this desire that you just leaped out the seat just now. You said we must desire the need to move forward and not look back. Yes, cherish the great memories. So you're cherishing these memories of your father, and it's giving you power as you are appreciating the moments that you have. And it says, but don't stay stuck. So this goes back to crying, standing up, right? Don't stay stuck. In this season, you must embrace change while recognizing that your life has not ended. My mind is blown because so many times when we face grief, we feel like we have nothing else to live for. And we almost sometimes teeter the edges of depression. But talk about that moment. You mentioned in your book 2013, that moment where you realized that you still had something to live for, you still had something to offer, and God gave you a new job in this industry. Talk to us about that.
So I was sitting at my desk and I was doing really, really good. I used to sell cars. And so I was sitting at my desk and I was just at a point like, it's more that I need to be doing with my life. It's just so much more I need to be doing, what I need to do.
Yes.
And so God said, I said, wherever you want me to go, I'll go. And so God said, okay, I want you to go to Huntsville. I said, no, God, not me. You're not talking to me. I said, wherever. But he said, you said wherever I want you to go. And I tell you, I listened. I tried to fight God for a month and everything fell through. But the minute I started looking for somewhere to stay in Huntsville, I found it in like 3 hours. So that lets you know that the plan was perfect. And then when I came to Huntsville for a whole nother job.
Okay.
And I end up not getting that job that I came for. You understand?
Okay.
And I realized then I fell into life insurance thinking I'm going to a whole nother type of job. And I realized then, because a good friend of my mom, he always tried to mentor me into this life insurance industry. But when I realized when I became there, because I was a top producer from the time I started to the time I left, but what I realized was this. I came to life insurance to tell these people how to get over grief. Hey, go figure.
Hold on. Stop. Because I don't want nobody to miss that. You said you came into life insurance to do what?
To help people get over grief.
Wow.
Most of my clientele, and I know they're going to see this and they're going to attest to this, were over the age of 55. And they say, you're telling stories like you're so. I'm like, I thought this was normal. I thought grieving like that was normal. And then what I realized, helping other people, it ended up healing me. It
Mm,
set me free because I was
mm.
talking about it and I was telling people and I was educating community, not just on life insurance, but on just the whole scenario of tomorrow's not promised. So
Okay. So you said I know how it feels to be broken, but through my brokenness, I have found my superpower. You mentioned, you gave the scripture that need comfort. Those who need comforting are now able to comfort, right? And so through, a mourning stage or process, you're saying to me that now God has allowed that pain to become purpose so that I can relate to others who need comforting. Is that what you're telling us tonight?
I'm definitely telling you that book knowledge is it's good, but experience bring on wisdom. Like I'm telling you this because this is what I've been through, and I don't have sympathy for others no more. I have empathy. Like whatever I
Okay,
need to
stop,
do,
stop. I don't have sympathy for others. You have what?
empathy.
Okay, what's the difference?
Sympathy is more like I'll pray for you, and you go to the car. You might say a prayer you won't, or if you need anything, I'll get it, or all the cliche stuff. Empathy is saying, sis, what's your address? Do I need to clean? Brother, what's your address? Do I need? I know I need to drop some because I know the ritual of funerals, or I know I need to pray for you. I'm not just gonna tell you, but immediately, like on my timeline, I have 1,000 maxed out friends, and I pray for people hundreds of times. My prayers are not biased. If somebody says on my timeline or any social media, I just need a prayer, you just don't know what a lot of people praying for you can do. See,
Mhm.
my mom is a prayer warrior, and she got a
Yes,
prayer
she
warrior
is.
group,
I know
and
she is.
that's part of my superpower because see, I have a whole bunch of prayer warriors coming behind me, and so God knew and he made me a prayer warrior. My aunt named me a prayer warrior, and I was like, why would you name me that? But I realized my communication with God is real. It might not be perfect, but I'll be like, hey God, what you want me to do today? I'm here for you today because you woke me up one more time, and I'm forever grateful. I'm not for at first I wasn't grateful for the trials. At first I wasn't grateful for the brokenness, but I will be forever grateful that God chose Tiffany S. Carter. Because when God chose me, why the devil is mad? Because he knew it was a whole bunch of people that I was going to tell next how good he is, that he does restore, that he
Yes.
will give you more than exceedingly. I was going there and abundantly above all that we ask or think according to the power that working within us. So I'm connected to the creator. He cares for me enough to break me gracefully and gracefully build me back.
Come
I'm
on, come
better than
on.
I was. Like
Yes,
I wish
you
like
are.
I'm better where I was, but I know that even when I see my family members again, I know I'm not only going to be changed in the world made new, Java,
Uh-huh.
but I worked endlessly to change my life here so their lives wouldn't be in vain. They left a
Wow.
seed. They didn't leave a rock.
Wow. Wow. So listen, as we close, two parting words. She says, if you have the pain, it also comes with power. I need somebody right now to understand this. You must tune into the power, the supernatural power that each living person possesses. Right now, give me 15 seconds. 15 seconds about this power that you're saying that people can tap into. Please talk to us right.
First of all, you have the power to heal, but you have the power to choose. If you learn how to say yes to yourself, yes, I deserve these things. Yes, I deserve to be healed. Yes, I deserve to be free. You need to say no to anything that does not represent that freedom. I tell people, if you want to be free, you must acknowledge first that you're broken. It's healing. It's definitely going to be healing for your soul. But first, you got to know you're sick. But it's healing for anybody that want it. It's free. You can be free for anybody that want it. Because guess what? I was broken, but I've been made whole again. God still restores every day and forever. Thank you, Jaya, for having me.
Yes, yes, yes. Hey, listen, I'm so glad that you came. Please click the link below. We want to make sure that you can get your copy. Also, you can go to Amazon.com. You can put in Tiffany S. Carter, and you can type in the title listed here. Broken 7 Steps to Healing While Grieving. As we close, I want to let you know you ought to create a positive list, Tiffany says, of people, places, and things that make you happy, especially people. Because if you have a support system, you can call on them when you need a shoulder to cry on or an encouraging word. And as Tiffany has said, right? She has encouraged us to cry, baby, cry. He shall wipe away every tear from their eye. There will be no more death, no more mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things have passed away. Well, listen, that's our time. I want to thank you so much for coming. Tune in next week as we have with us Pastor Carl McRoy. He will be in the house talking about what's blocking your blessing. You don't want to miss it. Till next time, God bless you and have a great evening.
Something big is happening on November 7, 2020, and you don't want to miss it. The Southeastern Conference Women's Ministries Department is celebrating its 30th anniversary. The theme is 30 years of excellent service. The best is yet to come. Prepare yourself for a full day of virtual interactive programming with powerful preaching by our keynote speaker, Chaplain Linda Pinnock, founder of Living the Divine Purpose Ministries. Enjoy inspiring music by our anniversary praise team and virtual choir. And join us for a special tribute acknowledging the excellent work of former Women's Ministries directors, Sister Vanessa Melton and Mrs. Nicole Rize. In the afternoon, get ready for a spirit-filled live concert with gospel recording artist Miranda Curtis, a special awards program honoring women around the conference who have contributed greatly to the work of women's ministries, followed by an anniversary reception and a celebratory toast. If you would like to nominate an outstanding woman for an award, visit www.secsda.org/women's ministries. Registration is open now to receive your personalized 30th anniversary gift box for a donation of just $30. Anniversary t-shirts are also available, and take a moment to place an ad in our commemorative booklet on behalf of an outstanding leader or in memory of a loved one. To receive your package by November 7th, orders must be placed by October 16, 2020. For more details and to register right now, visit www.secsda.org. You may also register using the SEC SDA mobile app. Download it today for free. This celebration will not be complete unless you are there to share it with us, so mark your calendars now.